Hey.
Hey, why am I doing this?
Because
gosh,
I got ink all over your hand.
Paint on my hands today, and I can't get it off.
What have you been painting?
With turpentine, I couldn't get it off.
What were you painting?
It's top secret.
I can't wait to find out what that is. I got it on my arm too. Look at this. It's like all everywhere. It's like, gross. Go
it's
shower.
splattered on me.
Covered in paint, pretending to be an emu.
Gross. Nasty. So today we're doing something different with our 5. And we're going to give you the top 5 things that we've learned from various authors, writers, stunt coordinators, gaffers.
Entertainment people.
Yes, and today we have
Everett Oliver.
So here are the top 5 things that we learned from Everett Oliver.
1. We have to be great listeners, especially in our business, because things that they say to us, those things that they do, it's like I could use that information to get them in that place, because actors are always in their heads, or, and it's like, hey, I need you to be present. I need you to be in the moment.
So it is important to listen, not just in voice acting, but anything you do.
I need you to listen to me.
I mean, if you walked around and just didn't listen to what people were telling you, you'd be in your own world the entire time, and the world would just slowly die of knowledge.
Well, you also create an echo chamber inside your own head, because if you are your own echo chamber and you're the only one who's talking, then there's no way you're actually learning anything else. You're regurgitating what you already know.
Regurgitating yourself.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, I'm sharing an idea or a thought, and I'm saying something out loud to you that I might be trying to listen to myself, because I'm reconfirming or organizing what's in my head. That's one thing. Right. It's another thing if you bust into a room and you're the only one speaking and you're only talking about yourself, or if you're hearing, but is it you're listening but not hearing, or hearing but not listening? Which is it? Right.
And you go into a situation, and this happens a lot with interviewers as well. Many interviewers miss the best interview because they're just in their head thinking of the next question and not listening to what the interviewee is saying. That's why it's so important to listen, because you discover new things and new ideas and things you would never discover if you didn't listen.
Yeah. And in listening, it's also a way to find a way that you can build a bridge to that individual. So anytime you have an argument or a conflict, if I'm listening to what they're saying and I'm genuinely hearing, I'm going to be aware of those moments in which they say something that I can relate to. That's an opportunity to build a bridge. I can mark that down. I can build a bridge there. Maybe the timing's not right now, but maybe I talk to them afterward and say, hey, can we go grab coffee or talk about this? I've got a bridge because I listened to what they were saying and where they came from. So that's really important.
I want you to think about what it would take to build a bridge with me.
And many times people are too quick to shut off the listening when two people are actually trying to get to the same location. One's coming at it from the left side, one's coming at it from the right side, and they're actually thinking and saying the same thing, but differently. And if you shut things off too early, you'll never come to that agreement.
Yeah, I think how many times have you been in an argument, or I'm listening to an argument, and I'm like, we're on the same team.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Saying the exact same thing. It's just, I just have to be right.
Yeah,
I need to be right. It's slightly different. That I'm right. Yeah, I'm important to be right. So
what was that, Jason? I wasn't listening.
Yeah, never mind. Let's move on to number 2.
I hear a lot of people who speak really well and clear, and then I'll say, you have an education background, don't you? And when I mean education background, I mean somebody has a master's or a PhD, and I can home in on it. And I say, you'd be great for narration. You'd be great for e-learning. You'd be great for corporate narration, because they speak that a certain way. And I can hear that. But if you want to do video games, animation, you need to not speak. You need to play more. You need to not be in a corporate setting. And I've told plenty of women, get those pearls off.
Nice pearls.
Thank you.
Get them heels off. You need to learn to go play, because you've been structured to be very corporate. And that's not what we do here in animation and in video games. You've got to allow yourself to be free to play. And some people have not learned to learn how to play. They didn't learn how to play as a kid. They were adults, such as myself. Very sarcastic. Very sarcastic.
There's that sarcasm.
Yeah, which is real. It's real.
Man, that translates to corporate too as well, because anytime you're in a startup position, if you've been coming from a place of a corporate culture where you have a lane that you stick in your lane, you have certain things that are expected, and you always hear that's just how we do it, or you get stuck in the status quo thinking. The thing I've enjoyed a lot about being in entrepreneurs and startups is that there is a lot of freedom and creativity, but you also have to love to play. If you're expecting structure and order from the get-go, you're going to be miserable in a startup situation. You do want to be looking for structure and order. Where in the chaos, as we're creating it, can we bring order to help rein in the ideas and the creativity, so that you're looking for that, but you never want to get stuck in that. And even in a corporate or cultural environment, steer away from, if you ever notice we're doing it because that's how we do it. Anytime you heard that, it's that sacred cow that David talks about. Like, what is the sacred cow that's saying we do it this way because we do it this way because we do it this way? Those things are ready to die. Status quo thinking is ready to die. And if you don't, then you become like a Sears or other companies like a Kmart, where they were the number one brand in the world. And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that's right, they're still there. And, that goes for voiceover or for anything like this for the creative field as well. How do you stay in that creative space?
Yeah. We are taught a lot of times, even in school from a very early age, to just listen to what's told to us and be compliant. And you're basically groomed to fit in. And that does not necessarily work with innovation and creativity. So you have to break free from that. You have to learn how to play. That's how new ideas are born. That's how new characters come to life. That's how basically everything you see from the entertainment industry is born.
Yeah, play is a chance too to try ideas and test them out to see if they fail or not. And there's less risk involved in making the final call when you're just having fun doing it and you're experimenting for fun. And maybe you are creative and you want to do something like make your own short films, write a script that maybe overseas, throw ideas out there with your friends, and be willing to take a step outside of the comfort zone and really get a chance to experience the freedom, especially if you've been in that corporate setting forever.
I'd like to thank you, all of you, but I don't think we have a structure that works.
Now, if you're the other way, where you've always been creative, you've always been free, you have zero structure in your life, and maybe I'm talking to somebody in the room,
right?
Learning to do some of that order and structure to your life that you have been lacking or you have put in the back seat, can take that creativity and hone those ideas in a focused direction. Ray had been talking to me one time, and she said, Jason, you're firing at all these different targets. You got a great machine gun. It's equipped with everything you need, and you're shooting at all these targets simultaneously. She's like, I'd like to see you take all that creative energy and focus on like one or two targets and make sure you just destroy and obliterate the target. Because once it's gone, then you'll have the ability to move on to something else. So that's the opposite side of that. If you are in a free idea person, a free idea person cannot exist in a reality where you have to have focused forward momentum. So it's important to be able to establish boundaries for yourself and self-control in which those tools that you have can be used to optimum effect. And essentially that's what you think a corporation should be doing, but the corporation no longer is about the people. Once it becomes about the funding, the money, it ceases to be about the talents and the individuals, and you are just a number. No matter how hard they try, your bottom line material. So I think being able to break out of that and step into something where you're free. And in Everett's case, he's talking about in terms of the sound that you have when you're a voiceover artist. Welcome to Mercedes-Benz of Laguna Niguel, where your car will be, it's very versus like, oh my gosh, can you believe that happened? It just blew up in my face. Get in the Mercedes, let's go. So it's different. And it's exciting that he shared that to us. And I'm always excited, Cam.
I think one of the other things is balance. Everett mentioned that some kids don't get a chance to experience being kids, and you get that balance. I can't remember who the quote is from, but I heard it and it's always stuck with me, is that play is the work of childhood. And when you get that strong foundation in play, and then you start to learn how to work and how the world works as an adult, you don't need to forget the work of your childhood. You need to embrace it. And it's just as important as the stuff you learn as an adult. And if you're balanced in that area, you're very, very fortunate, because you can pull from the play and the creativity and what certain people expect in certain environments.
Facts.
3.
Those who really want to get into animation, then I'll say to them, oh, go jump on a trampoline.
Is that a trampoline?
Yeah. You want to try it?
Go ride a bike.
I've been on a trampoline since before I could ride a bike because I loved it.
Go running.
Run, Forrest, run!
You need to do physical exercises to have your mind shift, to connect, to be able to connect to that character. Yes, you have to study character development. Yes, you have to do research on the characters and research on the casting directors and research on the networks of what actual cartoon styles and all of that stuff. But you have to have that mindset and that space to be able to go ahead and do this, because not everybody could do animation.
And that's important in the booth as well, right? The physicality and the
absolutely.
Right. And if you're taught to and
Stiff.
living in a life where you're stiff and restrained all the time, that's going to come through.
Right. You totally tell. You know, and the way they speak. You know, I was like, stop speaking. You sound like you're in a boardroom and you're tense. That's not how this works.
And there's a reason it's called a board room.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Jason, next question.
Okay.
Exercise? Keep up that exercise. Two more. Come on, 2 more.
Heavy mic.
More, Kev. Oh gosh, that's painful.
30.
Maybe next time try a popsicle or something a little lighter.
Oh my goodness.
You know, there's a tremendous amount of physicality and creativity. I've learned that I often have the best ideas when I'm in motion. If I'm stuck with an idea, sitting at your desk, you're probably not going to get the idea. You have to get up, have to grab a coffee, drink tea, whatever, go for a walk, go for a run, be physical. I think in change, it occupies your mind to something it's doing, and it takes your brain's focus onto those automatic things that you're doing. And then it frees up the other part of your brain to just imagine, you know, because you've given it an assignment and it's not having to wonder, do I have something to do? I have something to do. You're exercising those ideas. So I think there's actually even a lot of science in this. And he's even talking about how it's effective. You want to create or generate a character, get up and get moving and try to create something new with that energy.
It heightens your awareness. Think about this. When you're out walking, you notice different things in nature. You look up. Many of us never, ever look up. We spend our whole day looking forward. And you know what always strikes me about that is when you're out walking, you can't help but, you know, enjoy nature, look up at the sky and so forth. And that is part of that creativity. How earlier we were talking about how important it is to be like a child as far as, you know, the play. Well, think about kids. What are they doing? They are always looking up. They're looking up at adults. They're looking up at a bigger world with so many more possibilities. When we grow up, we tend to look straight ahead and we hardly ever look up, except for those occasions when we're out exercising, out in nature, out doing things of that nature. And I think that brings some of the childhood back into us, and it brings some of the creativity back into us as well.
I think wonder, maybe creativity actually comes from wonder.
Maybe I am just too jaded to be filled with wonder.
The sense of awe, the sense of wonder, the sense of more, the sense of possibility. And when we're doing that and we are in motion, we're generating those adrenaline and those things that we need that open up to the sense of wonder. I was playing golf today, and it's amazing how many people, you're focused down the range, you're looking at your ball, but then I took a moment to look around. It's like the mountains are everywhere, big bears up there, the snow covered caps, the sun is coming through. It's just absolutely stunning. And I was inspired. I had some new ideas even while I was out there just playing golf. So definitely keeping in motion and keeping yourself moving, especially if you get stuck. An excellent tip. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Everett.
4.
You got to keep training. And I think even if you are a pro, you still need training.
If you end your training now, become an agent of evil.
Because there are a lot more people out here who is doing this work than when I was doing it back in years ago.
I'm sorry. Can you clean that up, Cam? I think
I think so. Yeah.
I think there was just a smudge on the mic there. It was
It's
weird.
not a static industry. I mean, there's always new things to learn. Always.
And you've got to keep up with the new trends, who's developing new stuff, who's producing. And a lot of people are not doing it. Right. I'm like, you ain't even watching TV. You're not going to the movies. You're not even watching the new commercials that's out. Games. Oh my God, the stuff that's going on with games. And plus you're adding, mocap didn't even exist.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago? So that everyone just sees the thing of, oh, that's cool. I wish, blah, blah, blah. But there's an art, there's a technique, a style that, you have to know. So it's just, on and on and on and on. So I'm telling everybody, in order to stay in the game and stay consistent and current, you got to be up on it 24/7 like everyone else.
How awesome is this? I think this ties in a little bit to our number one point as far as being a good listener, because you have to be a good listener in order to continue learning. And education is so important in any industry. I mean, when you think about it, the top athletes continue to coach, and they coach all the time. Businessmen and businesswomen and business people, they have business coaches that they work with, and voiceover, any industry, it's no different. Continue learning, continue training, because if you pick up just one little nugget out of some education you're going through, you can put that in your bag of tricks, and it will make you a much better and more successful creative.
Absolutely. And the industries are changing too fast to not be studying and not be training. You will get left behind.
I know the pain of being left behind.
If you are not on top of the things that are coming, even in film, it's the different types of cameras that are out. It's the new LED style lighting. It's the new VR and AR type platforms. It's new gaming systems. It's storytelling for new games. How do you storytell for a VO movie? If you're in voiceover, it's learning the new types of mics. It's the new techniques. It's the new what are people? It's
always like Everett was saying. It's listen to those current commercials out there. Listen to voiceover in all its different areas, because you're right. Things change at such a rapid pace. You need to keep listening to keep up with the latest.
5. People don't know who they are. That's the real bottom line of it is. That you as a person don't understand who you are and how you tick. And that's what the uniqueness you need to bring to that specific character. And people are not doing that. They're just doing it based off, I don't want to get myself in trouble, off of a picture that they see. That's what they're doing. Oh, I could do this crazy voice just in the picture that I see. I can't believe I just did that.
That was a good one.
Wow.
And I'm sure someone's going to use that.
Well,
ringtone?
Jason and I were just talking about that the other day when Jason had written a script, and I did some characters in it. And we're just talking about that. No matter what the character is, myself as an actor, there's always me at the center of it, and it's built up around that. There's always a bit of me in there.
It's great.
And no matter who it is. And that kind of is a good solid foundation, because you know you. And
if you know you,
if
you know yourself. But there's a lot of people who really, it's what's now that I've seen now is this wall.
He's trapped behind a wall.
Know yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself. Sorry.
Now, it's often a lot easier to say that than it is to actually do it.
That wasn't
because
easy
what does
to
it mean
just say.
to just know yourself? That sounded hard, very hard. I mean, your face is pinker than
It is, isn't it?
Difficult.
For instance, you can probably tell that I love Ryobi tools because I have these glasses on.
Yes, you do. And we speak about them frequently, even though they're not a sponsor yet of our show.
So knowing yourself.
As long as you know yourself,
There's no danger.
What does it truly mean for someone to know themselves? And I think it's to understand the things that motivate you, the reason why you do what you do, the things that you stand on and believe. If you want to get started on the know yourself, I have a simple thing that you can do. That's harder to actually practice, but it's a simple task in terms of execution. The first one is to determine your purpose. Why do you exist? Why are you here? Maybe you're like, I don't know. We have no purpose. The world is meaningless and I have no purpose. That's fine. Start there. Maybe you're like, I have a reason. I'm here to change the world. I'm here to make a difference for everybody. Great. Do that. The next thing is to ask 3 questions. If you were to die tomorrow, but you could say 3 things today that would change the world forever, what 3 things would you say?
Don't walk off the cliff by mistake.
Fantastic. Now, if you apply that principle in education to other people, maybe that's metaphorical as well as physical. So I think both of those are apropos to what we're talking about. So I think that's a great exercise to be able to begin to know yourself. And then you can ask yourself more of those questions after those 3 are done. You'll begin to understand why you do what you do. After that, when somebody comes at you and says, you need to buy this, you need to do this, you need this, and you can say, no, I don't, because I know who I am, and that does not apply to you need to jump off this cliff. It'll be great. It'll feel the wind in your face. You're going to feel so cool, and you're going to be the coolest dude on the block. And Cam can say, no, I'm not jumping off the cliff because I'll be the flattest.
I don't want to be the flattest dude on the block.
I don't want to be 2-dimensional.
And don't be afraid to know yourself either. Don't be afraid to go on that journey, because before you know yourself, you're really in a prison. You don't even know you're in that prison. Once you know yourself, you are free to make decisions on your own. You're free to explore things that you love and you're interested in. When you know yourself, you have a freedom to not have to follow the pack.
And I wonder how much of it is because we've been created to be told who we are.
Right.
So we're expecting someone to say, who am I next?
Exactly.
Like, who are you now? I don't know. And then they look to Instagram, look to culture, look to movies to decide who they are now.
Uh-huh.
And their personality is more like a fad than it is something constant and sustainable.
Exactly. So I would say to people who you are, we talked about this with Shun Lee. Go back to your childhood. What did you enjoy doing? What did you enjoy dreaming about? What gave you joy and a feeling of purpose when you were growing up? And
beating up my sister, probably. I just really love that.
Okay. All right. Well, scrap what I just said.
As long as that thing did not bring harm to others.
Okay, as long as that thing did not bring harm to somebody. When you're growing up, many people circle back around and realize they've spent their entire lives in a career or a job or something that was empty. It didn't give them any fulfillment. And when they come back to that second career and start doing what they used to do as a child, they find that fulfillment and they find themselves.
Which often starts as a hobby.
Exactly. It starts off as a hobby. And many people go through an entire life of working and only find themselves when they've retired. It's kind of sad. And I think we can break that cycle. You can find yourself before that. And I highly recommend it.
Yes, so thank you, Everett Oliver, for that awesome advice, and thank you once again for joining and tuning into Entertainment Dudes. If you want to hear the full version of Everett Oliver's interview on Entertainment Dudes, you can check it out at watch.entertainmentdudes.com, and the link will be provided below. And if you want to find out more exciting things we have on Entertainment Dudes, you can just watch this video.
Or watch this video.
Or maybe this video?
Or any video that pops up. And don't forget to subscribe and like. And, every YouTuber says that, but we're going to say it again because I've often wondered if people watching videos are so tired of hearing like and subscribe because every video says that.